lost the previous map in a very one-sided fashion towards Furia. It was their map pick, and now as Furia choose Mirage, TeamOne decide to start on the CT side, where hopefully they'll be able to get themselves off to a decent start. My name is Mitch, and joining me is the beautiful Dean. And we're going to be taking you through the best of threes for today, and we're starting out here on map number 2. Dean, how are you feeling about TeamOne's chances moving on to Mirage?
100 maybe? I don't know. Just seeing them coming off the back of their own map at 16-4, it just does not bode well for them at all coming onto this one. But they do at least start it off well. Some nice calculated aggression there in towards the ramp. As we can see, though, it is actually going to be a B commitment coming through. But Barton playing from short will successfully drop one. Delays the bomb plant slightly. It will go down. But in a 3-on-5 here for Furia. So a great position for TeamOne as long as they work together on this retake.
The chances are there with the picks. With the bomb down, their time limited. Luckily, they've still got a kit on Bit, who's been taking it a couple of times for them in the past. Closing down the distance on short. They've got one player splitting in through the kitchen. Already decent damage done to Maluke, and no return on that frag. Queserato keeps on going with 2 on the board before he eventually falls. Nice shot by Barton to pull it into a 1v3. Abel J's got it all to do, and unfortunately tapped away by the P250. He's not going to be doing any of it. The kit retrieved, but they don't even need it. Just sticking the defuse there on TRK. And it's going to be 1-0, starting it off with 3 players left alive for TeamOne, all of which carry forward armor and a kit on IDK. Now, as regards the armor, though, I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference. They want to reinvest into head armor coming into this round, knowing that Furia will be, of course, coming through with a decent force buy. They have been, whenever they lose the pistol up against TeamOne or against a team that they feel confident in, they go in for those aggressive economic decisions. In general, they're one of the more aggressive teams towards the top level of CSGO right now.
Yeah, and we even seen it from them on the last map that they were able to make that force buy work on the CT side, rather with a much worse investment than what they have coming into this round right now. But what they had coming into this round is no longer what they have available to themselves, because they've gone ahead and already lost a couple of those rifles. Abel J able to actually pick one back up. And of course, Vinny able to actually catch that frag over towards jungle does give them a bit of a better opportunity here to try and make this a round they can potentially win, but it's still going to be very difficult, especially with a couple players already being tagged down quite low. And also the fact that Abel J on that low HP also doesn't have Kevlar to work with. I mean, it's not really a big deal because aim punch shouldn't really come into play unless there's some sort of wall banging involved. But there we go, another frag from TRK gets a nice little AK to be retrieved for himself as well. A solid upgrade.
Well, Furia getting off to a slow start on the terrorist side isn't something we see all too often in this kind of matchup. But you hinted at it over on the previous map, Dean, that this is one where you can definitely see TeamOne being competent. It's not a terrible map for them, and they never seem to get stomped out. But considering the fact that they had a victory versus Furia on Train in the previous best of 3 series, and then lost the previous one, was it 16-4? As dominant as could be anyways. So with that kind of performance drop-off, it does get a little bit worrying when we look at the general statistics. I mean, TeamOne don't seem to be playing too well right now, so this is the confidence that they needed to obtain, getting themselves off to a good start, provided Yuri doesn't pull off a 1v3 right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. Barton was ready for it. Does manage to actually catch him as he's crossing over there, so it will be TeamOne picking up that second round, able to overcome the force buy. Doing so pretty successfully as well, considering the 3 rifles were in play for Furia. The fact that only 2 frags come actually through for them, and I believe one of them at least being off the back of that deagle. So they didn't really find as much as they would have been hoping for. A small investment able to come into this round involving a bit of utility, some upgraded pistols. But we should see TeamOne having a relatively easy time here. At least you'd hope that they do, so that they can go ahead and actually find themselves a bit of money rolling early on as well. But look how aggressive they're getting. Bit on the back of this MP9. He wants to go forward, and he's just going to go ahead and pretty much chop through anyone he sees in front of him. Building up some bank. Barton then shutting down one over on B, and even though there is still a Vinny left and he gets that frag over on the B-bomb site, he just can't really do too much with that bomb being dropped on mid. They were requiring those players to be able to make it up through short so they could split on towards B. I feel like the apartments probably would have been in a better position for the bomb to be taken through as well. Mint just a little bit too dangerous. There's always the chance you can get dropped on short as well, and then if the bomb gets dropped in the open, it's almost impossible to actually retrieve.
At the moment, that full investment coming through from Furia, we're going to see a little bit of a different approach to the round. Hopefully. Well, Maluke has managed to take out the AWP. He's going to go for the early pick towards middle. At least he's thinking about it. Smoke is down, waiting for aggression through short. Doesn't spot anybody just yet. The timing's terrible, though. Yuri catches him off guard and takes him down. That's a 1-for-1 trade, but Yuri's going to be taken out by TRK, who keeps on going on the site, eliminating Vinny and putting it into a 4v2. Furia now receiving a lot of opening deaths.
as TeamOne just continuing on with this momentum early on. 4-on-2 in play. Casarato's still alive though, definitely one of the players you want in this position alongside Abel J. And the bomb will be picked up, and it does seem like A potentially going to be where they want to bring it towards. They have the position from Abel J, of course, pushed up towards Delpan. He can try and look up through connector maybe. But the bomb actually is going to make its way back around now. So what is the plan that they're going to be aiming for? Maybe get that mid control, see if they can find any mistakes, any picks coming through, or rather peaks coming through from TeamOne to give them the picks. And that certainly does seem to be the hope. Bringing it down mid itself indicates that they may try and bring this up through connector indeed. And Bit currently in towards jungle is in a position that they could potentially isolate that fight.
As they push forward, there's going to be two of them to peek him. But he's hiding. They're not checking it anymore. Timing's perfect. Spray only gives one. Okay, Serrato comes through with a second. With the bomb in his possession, nobody on short to take him down. That will be a bomb plant. And at least a little bit of economic security to go through for the T side. Manages to make it towards CT safely as well. And I don't know if they'll expect this. I mean, Barton managed to catch an angle, maybe just a little bit too late. As the nades go over, they're both looking over towards the default. Eventually, though, they do check CT, so it's okay. Double peeking him. I was worried maybe they'd leave him a little bit unchecked. Throwing away the Molotov. You can pick up another one, so why ever not? Defuse to go through, and TeamOne put themselves up 4-0. A really good start for them, but it is still early days, and with Furia being on their T side, it's certainly not the time to start relaxing. It's a team that you expect to perform pretty well late on in the half when they've got their full buys out on a consistent basis as their loss bonus builds up. And with the bomb plant, they actually decide to go in for that full investment right now, leaving Casarado down on an SMG, and Art manages to get the AK out, just avoids taking quite as much utility. But they've still got decent amount. I mean, 3 smokes to play with, lots of flashbangs, a few mollies as well. It's definitely a salvageable buy. They decide to go for a faster round on the back of having such limited utility, which I definitely agree with. The B rush coming in already.
Yeah, and Mac 10 leading the way from Casarato does actually open it up. Yuri then able to actually go ahead and drop IDK over towards short. So pretty quickly, a 2-man advantage being found alongside this B bomb site. Maluke pulls one back, but he doesn't do so too cleanly. He does end up getting dropped down low. Bit is actually yet to leave Palace as well. So if they don't find a frag very quickly, I don't think they're really going to be looking to make this retake happen. I think a save right now is their main priority, especially considering the 3 players that are alive are the ones that wouldn't actually be able to buy into this next round. Barton and IDK, on the other hand, they shouldn't have too much trouble investing back into their weaponry. So even though they do lose this round, TeamOne, as long as they keep these 3 alive, they will be able to rebuy. A good adjustment there from Furia to take up the pace. I guess realizing that they had been having a bit of trouble with kind of getting picked off early into the round, so just putting that force together. It's probably not going to be something rather that they'll be able to consistently replicate though. So it's going to be interesting to see now if they can find some more rounds off the back of it. They certainly do weaken the economy somewhat at TeamOne and put them into a position where they can potentially force them down to an eco with 1 more round win.
I'm curious to see though, now that they don't have the Mac 10 and they've got much more utility to work with, do they still go for the faster strategies, or are they going to slow it down a little bit? As they go for some top mid control, the player coming in through underpass, or rather towards B early on anyways, it doesn't look like we'll see too much of a fast blitz. Certainly slowing the pace down from the previous round. That's expected. They did only have 3 smokes to work with in the previous, so there was no opportunity really to sell a fake without leaving yourself weakened for the push eventually. TRK comes through with a pick onto Art, but now he's spotted towards Underwood. That Molotov's going to force him out in the open, where Abel J will be able to take him down. Suffers a little bit of damage for it, though. As a flash goes through, they know there's players towards CT. Vinny's been Molotov'd out in the open, though, and Yuri can't support him. But no picks to come off the back of it, as TeamOne playing a little bit safer towards CT, not quite going for the peaks. And as they eventually do, they're being lit up and pushed back from these angles. No smokes left, though, to block off any vision, so Furia have to take these kills and the fights before they can get the bomb planted. And they're risking the short peek coming through. IDK peeks eventually and almost drops the planter, but doesn't quite get enough damage done.
Yeah, and a great shot from Yuri there, while fully blinded and on low HP, managed to actually find that headshot. Another one coming through from Abel as well, although he does fall. A nice trade from Yuri to follow it up. Vinny, don't be shooting your teammate, he's already low enough on HP. That's not going to be helping him out at all. They do want to try and hunt down Maluke though, knowing that economy's low for TeamOne, and that will be the op being dropped and likely retrieved. No, actually not going to go ahead and pick it up, so maybe Art doesn't want that to work with at the moment. He's currently sitting at 0-5 though, so a little bit of a slow start coming in from the opper for Furia. If he buys an op up now, I'll be confused. I'd imagine he's just going to go for the rifle. Yeah, there we go.
Gonna be a weird situation. Just avoid taking the op and then buy it. T-side ops do more damage. Don't forget. No, not really. It's a meme.
I've never heard that meme.
No, I have.
Well, I feel like you just made that one up on the spot.
You know what,
there,
Dean?
Maybe you're just gullible and someone said it to you as a joke you believed in and you thought it was a meme afterwards.
True, and that could be. I mean, I do always drop the CT ops and take the T1s, so it's because they got nicer skins.
It's all about the skins, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe he wanted his own skin. Who knows?
That's not necessarily true because then when you're on the T side, you'll be up against the same players who have the same skins.
Oh, there you go.
Vinny creeping forward. This could be dangerous. Does actually end up getting a dinky returns one as well, but through the corner of the wall doesn't do too much damage. And TRK should be able to follow that one up. Indeed, he does an easy finish on towards Vinny and a 5-on-4 to kick things off here for Team 1 with a minute remaining. Although Art has actually creeped out onto the steps. He could be in trouble though. Doesn't expect Maluke to peek from triple. Had to be cautious of ramp, of course, as he was pushing forward, knowing TRK was up close.
Again, those early duels go down to Team 1. Big change from what we saw over on Train. One thing you can say, though, is that Furia definitely have the potential to pull them back when they're playing from that man disadvantage. That 2-man disadvantage a little bit more difficult to work with. But luckily, there are still 3 players stacked over towards the A-bomb site, with one holding down on short, leaving only Barton to watch apartments where all 3 players are about to push on through. Utility to be thrown over by Queserato, who's got a flashbang. They're going to push on the back of it. Steps are being hurt, so IDK starts to rotate over. He's going to get a 5-7 to work with, though. It's going to be difficult to find himself the damage with that. And Barton already falling leaves him in a bit of an awkward situation. Luckily, rotation already came in from Bit, who was the one finding all those kills and picking it up. 5-2. Again, decent start for Team 1. They're starting to look a whole lot better. But at the same time, though, Furia have got their buy out again. Their economy was already built up, so they're not seeing all too much of a deficit from losing the previous round. And they're going for, again, what looks to be a faster strategy. Stacking a lot of players over towards Palace early on, flashes towards middle, and eventually they'll pop over A and blitz this bomb site. TRK has been playing in Underwood quite a lot as well, so I think they'll suspect this.
Yeah, he can maybe catch a couple players off, though. Does find a quick headshot before going down, but he also gives the info to his teammates now, who go ahead and pounce off the back of it. Bit with a frag. Maluke going ahead and taking one for himself as well, but Art up close to the steps could be a little bit of a nuisance. I don't know if they're aware of this, and yeah, potentially to get caught off guard. There we go. Art gets one. There's another player on the bomb site, but Vinny creeping out of Palace with a quick frag on the Krieg brings it back down to the 2-on-2 now.
Both players in CT. This could catch them off. Barton finds the opening duel. Now they can double peek. Vinny's on low HP. They don't even need to double peek. Barton just does it all. Thing was, even if that kill was found onto Barton, I think the round would have been crazy for Furia to win. Because you would instantly assume there's no second player tucked up close right, especially after finding so many kills towards A already. So if Barton goes down, you've definitely got the potential for one to be caught off guard, then Vinny left on low HP. And again, we could have seen a similar situation played out. With 6-2, no matter how you look at things, Team 1 are looking a whole lot better than the previous map. I mean, in terms of early opening duels, clutches won out, aim duels in general, mid to late round are going their way as well. And the only thing that isn't really looking amazing for them is their economy. And that if they lose this round, I don't think they'll be getting a full one out, a full buy, leaving Furia to potentially build up a 6-4 scoreline before any more congestion really goes down. That's scary, because having such a strong start to the map, you don't want it to all of a sudden just be discounted just by losing one gun round.
Oh, Art actually found a frag there before going down to TRK. Up will be picked up by Queserato. The issue is they still need to deal with this MP9 on their Palace, and unfortunately they won't be able to do so. TRK goes ahead and takes down 2 more, actually resorts back to the P2000 and gets the dink in, and eventually the finish. I mean, bit... Why? Poor TRK, he put up such a massive fight. He managed to live through all of it just to be shot in the back by a friendly. It's heartbreaking. The op is retrieved either way though, so it's not the end of the world. It was only an MP9 that he lost rather, and he also built up some pretty good money off the back of it. With 3 frags, of course, from it, and then 1 from the P2000.
Still an awkward spot to be taking your teammate down in that spot. Okay, Bit dropping the smoke down towards Connector. Won't be left in the open. I was worried about him for a second. Fury get a little bit of progress towards P. They're starting to fake out A with Molotovs. going through as well. So Team 1 have no information to play with as regards to where these players actually are, and as the smoke dissipates, Art's going to try to make a play. They've not spotted him out. He picks up one, but he doesn't know there's two more players towards the back site. Unable to win at that duel as they push forward. Maluke is now being spotted. They know there's two players on B. And so the bomb correctly stops his run towards apartments and rotates around through CT.
And this could actually work out for Furia, especially if Yuri can find this frag on window. And yeah, Bit gonna try and take that peek out to see what info we can find. That leaves TRK now pretty much trapped in on this bomb site. He needs to come out with at least two frags here. I mean, one would be decent, but it'd still be the 2v2, which could get a little bit awkward. Takes the first. Able J coming in for the trade, rather, will eventually find it. And that should allow now for the bomb to be planted. They need to be careful, though, because this op in the hands of Maluke over on short could certainly be a little bit of a nuisance. The bomb, though, not going to cross over. We'll just go for a bit of a safer plant towards jungle, where we do have Yuri, of course, positioned for Furia.
A difficult retake for Team 1. Excuse me, for Team 1 with no information to play with. Maluke closing distance towards connector. Yuri spots out that he's no longer towards the bottom of Con. With the flash going over, Yuri should be able to capitalize on this angle and take him down. Catch him by surprise. Maluke has no idea. And an unfortunate situation develops now in a 1 versus 2. Barton's still going to go for it. They haven't got a lot of money to work with, but they've lost their AWP. Spots one up close. He knows where the final player is. Going for the defuse inside the smoke. He's going to stick him, but it's going to start to dissipate in just a second. Yuri switched down to the Glock, though. So as it's dissipated, he can't find the kill. 7-2.
8-2.
Turns to 8-2.
Yeah, the swap. Yeah. Oh, that is...
That's heartbreaking. That's honestly...
It.
That should have been Furia's round. They've got a 2 versus 1. They peek out on ramp with so little time left to defuse. There was barely any time on the smoke, but Yuri hadn't reloaded, had to go to the Glock. Oh, that literally everything. There was only one way that Team 1 won that, and the stars aligned.
The way. Yeah, they had Doctor Strange look into the future for them. They knew what was going to happen. They knew they were going to win it. They just didn't know how. That was the one way right there. Oh, that is... You can see a pause come through from Furia. That's a tactical and an anti-tilt pause. Necessity after a round that ends like that. 8-2 now, of course, in favor of Team 1. They continue to build up the CT lead. Positive is still, again, we can keep that going. The fact that Furia have kept that economy so low. But, I mean, if they're going to continue to lose rounds, that may not matter in the end. So they need to start picking them up, and they need to start doing so pretty convincingly from this point forward if they want to be able to turn this into a decent T-side. And there we go. The chat is beginning to blow up after seeing that play.
Yeah,
Bit of a delay, of course.
Yeah, that little delay is always nice to see. You're like, oh, I wonder when they're going to see... Oh, there it is. They saw it.
You just know. You know from the reaction what just happened.
Now, and that is just such a heartbreaking way to lose it. And now as we look towards an 8-2 scoreline, Team 1 got themselves out that full buy. They've got the util to work with. And we talked about how their economy was is still fragile, but was fragile earlier on. And the fact that if Furia win one round, then they suddenly buy themselves back into it. But you're not in a position that's actually too terrible at this point. If Team 1 manage to land themselves over, or if Furia manage to land themselves around, it'll probably go 8-4, which still isn't terrible, and it gives Team 1 a lot of potential to pull it back further. Furia putting a push towards the B bomb site. They've lost one player there to IDK. Barton manages to pick up one, low HP towards Yuri, but he does win out the duel and puts it into a 3v3. Maluke not going to get more than one either. And so a bomb plant secured. I mean, looking that he managed to take down Able J, though, it leaves Yuri on 26 HP still.
Yeah, they continue his trades back and forth. I mean, it is pretty decent for Furia, but as you said, with Yuri on low HP, it's still definitely a very doable retake here from the CT side. Bit connecting a bit of damage on towards Casarato, getting the info about that player positioned over towards bench. Molly's the right side so that he has a bit of a more equal position to just focus on just the one angle, but he actually burns one alive with that Molotov. It's all onto Casarato now. Gets the first and knows where Bit is coming from, looking to try and run down this time. And to find that angle, needs to be cautious, just playing around these boxes, and he'll eventually just peek out for the headshot. Time was running low either way. A third round being found for Furia there. They do manage to recover off the back of that previous round loss. And of course, with that, finally do put Team 1 down into a pretty difficult position. 4 players actually facing the double eco, so they decide to just force into it, which is understandable. But it's not a good buy by any means. It's just pistols being upgraded, 1 MP9 then for TRK. This is a real good opportunity here for Furia to find themselves a 4th and likely a 5th off the back of it, as we will see Team 1 having to take an eco after this one.
Yeah, provided they lose, but they've stacked up towards the B side, which could be a little bit scary for Art as he pushes forward. A second player up close is not expected. Maluke is only able for 1. But having picked off 2 players, how many more do they really expect to be here? Barton picks up 1 on the Deeg. Okay, they both fall directly afterwards, so Quesarado in there with those 2 kills is the important feature for the round. It leaves TRK all alone, pushes ramp to try and catch someone off guard, suspecting maybe they would have rotated, but they stuck to their guns and pushed that B bomb site. It was only AbleJ who was poking and prodding towards A and connector. So he's going to go for the flank all the way around through the T-spawn to try and make his way in to grab even a weapon to save forward, as winning out a 1v3 clutch like this with an MP9 is pretty unlikely.
Yeah, TRK looks like he is going to be caught off guard as well. Just able to peek through from window, take himself a very easy frag indeed. So 4th for Furia being found, as I said. Now they should be looking at a 5th off the back of it, as we do see, of course, only pistols in the possession of TeamOne. Probably won't really be able to upgrade them either, so could potentially see maybe a bit of a gamble coming through. I would like to see that. Stack up one of the bomb sites. If they end up hitting that bomb site, you have a good opportunity to at least find some frags off the back of it, and that's exactly what they're going to go for. Taking it over towards A. A couple of players early on for the T side will be looking to try and just make their way towards Ramp and Palace, maybe probe towards that A bomb site, see what they can actually try and find. And actually, we do see TeamOne instead directing this towards middle. The flash goes over the top, and they're going to try and push this down. Up close, AbleJ goes down after only 1 frag, but from the top of mid, it will be recovered quite well. It's left into a 1-on-3 now. Quesarado in a great position as well to just finish it off. It takes a bit longer than expected, but he will be able to end the round either way. A 5th being found for Furia, keeping 3 players alive. It's not too bad. But the buy going to be coming back in from TeamOne now. Ideally, they want to be picking up these remaining 2 rounds because they had such a great start into this half, and it's begun to actually be recovered quite well by Furia. Just off the back of that 1 gun round going in their favor, which is a little bit heartbreaking. It was just the fact that those previous rounds, they had been so close.
There's definitely some hope for TeamOne still in the series, but if Furia do manage to win at this buy round, that's where things start to go down the toilet, as TeamOne would be forced into a forced buy for the final round, and then it's likely to see an 8-7 scoreline. Considering the strong start TeamOne got off to, it's not the spot we wanted to see them in. So far, there's been big improvements in opening duels, with both IDK and TRK winning out 3 of them, but towards the last couple of rounds, it's not been going all too well. We've started to see Art return to form early round a little bit more. He had a really slow start to the series, but now 3 for 5 in opening duels is starting to recover it somewhat. Hasn't got his AWP to work with this time, as it's going to be a faster push from Art towards the B site. He's got an AK in hand, and they just don't seem to know he's there. Barton kind of watched him jump down, but not even checking it. As Art's on the site, is he invisible? Harry Potter's invisibility cloak?
Slightly blinded. TRK, though, he actually takes the bomb back. That is a great recovery from what seemed like a very silly start to this round. I don't know. Yeah, maybe he had a cloak over him, as you said.
That was he just jumped out, and they were just like, whatever. Don't worry about that guy. Look at the rest of them. Well, yeah, losing the bomb here is rough because they've got control over B completely. In a 3v3 with the information game going the way of the CT side. I'm surprised to still see them so spread out, but it works out early on as the peak goes down towards CT. Maluke manages to find that. Quesarado trades back a little bit, but TRK is still up close guarding this bomb. Now that's going to be expected. There's no way that they assume that there's no players up close. Flashbang goes through. TRK begins to aggress. Yuri swaps out from his AK, and so as he's swapping weapons, he gets eliminated, so it's all on to Quesarado to try and pull this back. TeamOne may just have done enough to recover this round. It's all really on TRK for this one. As Maluke spots out Quesarado towards the top of the stairs, he falls, and that's going to be 9-5. 1 round left to play for, as Furia will be digging deep into their economy, getting themselves out of full buy alongside some util for this final round. But still a 9-6 scoreline, considering the form we saw Furia on the previous map, one where TeamOne have beaten them in the past, quite recently as well. It's surprising to see that they're struggling so much early on the terrorist side.
Yeah, they have recovered it quite well, though, especially if they can find this 6th round right now here. It would be pretty solid for Furia indeed. TeamOne, though, they want to try and bring it to double digits. Yuri manages to catch TRK off guard there towards triple, and a smoke goes down as well, so that should be able to stop the player in jungle from doing too much. But it's actually Art who does that job indeed by just going ahead and eliminating him. IDK follows up with 1. But he will be forced to fall back off through that Molotov. But a player up close on window, actually AbleJ not going to make the jump over. That's probably the correct decision. He does decide to just stay on short for now. So man advantage being found for Furia, as the bomb, of course, is yet to go down. And I'm not too sure that Bit actually spotted that at top mid, so I don't think he's aware that he has control of it. Now the last man left standing will be going ahead and getting himself an AK alongside one frag. A 1-on-3 though, going to be very difficult, and he may be aware of the fact actually as he makes his way back over, drops that Molotov as well. Definitely has that info indeed, but it's still going to be so difficult.
It's a really rough spot to play from with Vinny coming around on the flank. He has so many angles to worry about. Catches one off, but the spray down isn't quite there to take Quesarato out. So it's 9-6. And at the end of the day, Fury have done a good enough job to pull things back into the realm of possibility for them. It's not a terrible T-side all in all. But with that slower start and the fact that they didn't really build up like a gigantic amount of momentum, if they had gotten at 8-7, it definitely would have felt kind of guaranteed to be theirs. But I think TeamOne, if they win this pistol round or manage to get in there in the first buy round, they could definitely be in with a chance to win Mirage. Like we talked about before, this has never been a map for TeamOne where they got stomped out. The worst loss they have is 16-10. But it was more the form of them coming into this and what we saw from them on train that it looked like Fury would stomp them out on this map. It's still very much possible. With the pistol round going underway, you're seeing, again, 3 players on Furia playing without armor.
Beretta's in play as well from that CT side. Unfortunately, you don't really see too much action because Vinny is actually the one to fall initially as that push comes out through the apartments. Maluke, he's trying to trap Casarato in towards that back corner, but he's still able to go ahead and neutralize TRK. Abel comes in to help Casarato. He goes ahead and takes himself a triple kill now as he looks to finish it off. There it is, the quad kill, the headshot on towards Maluke. And that's Furia going ahead and picking themselves up a 7th round to kick off the second half with a bang.
Getting in there with the momentum starting to roll for them. Now they get the SMGs out to play. 3 already on the board, and Vinny, he's thinking about it and he goes for it. Another SMG to work with. This is one of the heaviest SMG buys you see in round number 2. But they suspect the eco from TeamOne so they can build up at least some cash. Even with that though, in the next round they will suffer a little bit, considering the fact that TeamOne would then have AKs to play with. And Furia would be outmatched in pretty much any duel. But still, you can play it as a bonus round, try to catch them off guard, and then get your own full buy out later on. Look at the aggression that's come through from Art. He's already pushed up in the T-spawn and takes IDK out, but now he's going to be peaked by 4. Runs out of ammo in the SMG, and so he will be taken down without any more. Still, though, a 4v3 to play with. 1 kill for TeamOne. It'd be nice if they could find another. And really just avoid dying to these SMGs. They want to give over as little money as possible to the CT side.
Ooh, they actually do manage to find a trade in towards the apartments though, so bringing it down into a 2-on-3. Both of these players actually have an MP9s to work with as well as they push on towards this B bomb site. It could get a little bit dangerous. The issue is the rotation haven't already come through from Vinny. He's ready now towards the back of this bomb site. He quickly drops TRK and finishes it off towards Barton as well. So unfortunately the bomb isn't going to go down. But considering TeamOne didn't really put any investment at all into that round, that's a pretty decent outcome, being able to find a couple of frags out of it.
No, for sure. That's a fantastic position for them to play in. I think 2 kills in a round like that is more than you can expect going into it with such little investment. So TeamOne now getting themselves at a full buy. The benefits are clear. Furia cannot play this as a bonus round anymore. They've got to fully invest their cash into rebuying out weapons, which they decide to go towards M4s. So where previously we were talking about, okay, well look, Furia, they can play this round. If they lose, it's fine. They have money for the next. That's not so true anymore. Certainly not to get a strong buyout. And so TeamOne opened the doors to potentially walk away with 10, maybe 11 rounds on the board. And Furia will try to stop them here, though. They've got utility to work with. They've got 3 M4s and 2 SMGs. Those SMs up close could definitely catch the opponents off guard, considering the fact you're also backed up by full utility. It's not the worst in the world. TeamOne spreading out again. They're sending 1 towards B, 1 top mid, and obviously eventually looking to hit that A bomb site as they've got 3 in Palace. Oh no, that's actually so bad. They fake out B, but then as soon as Art's there, he spots out that they're not actually pushing the B bomb site. Now they can start rotating over towards A. Yuri's just holding down behind that smoke, catches IDK off guard, and the round falls apart for TeamOne. So little information to play with on the terrorist side, and that push through underpass is ultimately what gives Furia, aside from the kills they found, the massive advantage in the round, because while TeamOne are trying to fake it out, play it slow, drag some rotations, and hit the A players unaware, it just doesn't work out.
there's the final frag coming through from Art from behind. Able to keep 4 players alive for Fury as well, so that's really solid for them to build up money early on, especially considering they're coming into this round now up against what is going to be likely just an eco in TeamOne. Maybe some pistols to be upgraded, bit of utility perhaps, maybe even body armor onto a couple of those players, but I don't expect too much else to be found. It's a great position here for Furia to actually go ahead and claim themselves the lead.
Yeah, the opportunities are certainly there for Furia now. Winning at this round should be almost guaranteed. I mean, those deals are definitely dangerous, but without armor, the nades and even the body tags are going to be so dangerous. So painful for TeamOne to receive. Spreading out and looking for picks, looking for any aggression that may come through on the CT side. And Art's on the verge of offering it. He starts to get aggressive. Maluke's here with his back turned, though, and he drops down, having been spotted now by Art, who's creeping up behind. Now the problem, he spotted out the players rotating towards mid. He has no idea there's still a player towards the A side, so Barton could potentially catch them off. All they have to do in middle right now, though, is just delay on the Furia side, use up your utility, drop a couple of bullets to try and bait them out, and Art just sneaky beaky like coming up behind them. This is played so well by the CT side. 2 kills guaranteed off the bat. Now he has to take the duels up against the weaker pistols, but without armor again, they're going to really struggle. And there's 4 kills on the board for Art. A really nice flank play coming through. Great control from Furia just to keep those players trapped towards middle, waiting to see somebody peek. You know, they've got those deagles. They want to see the mid player peek out once the smokes start to fade. They wait around. They bide their time. But Art shuts them down and leaves it all on to Barton to pull back. Even with that kill, it's looking unlikely.
Doesn't look like Barton is going to be surviving very much longer. In the open, of course, caught out by the 2 players over towards Connector. That is going to be a 10-9 lead now for Furia, going ahead and actually claiming themselves the lead after what was looking pretty dire earlier on, rather, I believe, being 8-2 at one point. And great recovery since then, taken 8 of the last 9 rounds. But the buy going to be coming through from TeamOne. This is where they really need to pick it up now on the T side. Otherwise, it's going to begin to become a real struggle for them. And of course, for anyone who wasn't here during map number 1, we did see Furia taking the victory back on it in a very dominant 16-4 fashion, being over on Train, of course it was, which was where we expected TeamOne to actually find a lot more success than they have so far here on Mirage. But Caserato actually just burns TRK alive. I'm not too sure how that entire Molotov, I mean, the smoke's going down. I don't think he realized he was walking back into a Molotov that had been tossed down so deep. But Barton does at least return 1. That aggression not really needed from Art when they already have the advantage and when they already have a player pushed up deep into the B apartments.
And now sitting on the 4-4, a 4 versus 4, with a bomb dropped towards the back of apartments, they can easily get that whenever they decide where they want to take things. Evidently, it looks to be B as Barton gives up all control on A. Maluke is getting aggressive. The nades from Caserato have been so well used. Maluke goes down to 55. One thing to note when you look towards the likes of Caserato, he's got a 100% headshot ratio. That resets on the half. So he hasn't killed 20 players rather with a 100% headshot ratio. Don't worry about that. Coming around, he's going to be eliminated. So whatever his headshot percentage is, it matters no longer in this round. Maluke runs on into the Molotov, but quickly dips out of it, and the bomb should be easily planted here for TeamOne. With a B retake on the cards and plenty of cash, I think Furia are going to go for this even with the man disadvantage rather. But Yuri actually stops going up, stays towards underpass, as both of his A players decide, it's just not worth it. I think economically, probably the right call. You're ahead by 1 round, you can allow them to equalize it, and you'll have plenty of cash to drop over your teammates in the next round and even out that economy a little bit. Give a good shot to have 2 full buys in a row.
I'd say this is definitely the safer decision, especially when they're at this current scoreline on the CT side either way. They've certainly a little bit of room to work with, and Yuri putting through some pretty good damage, expecting a second player to be there. Barton not focused on the steps, ends up going down. Eventually, we will see Yuri fall, but not before putting in a lot of damage, and I believe the bomb even taking down a player there as well in the end, so it was only IDK who ended up surviving. A lot of damage being put through to TeamOne. You can see now with the reinvestment having to come through, it's gonna be leaving them on pretty much nothing in the reserve. And even with that, TRK not able to pull a rifle out into this round. He's put down onto a CZ, unfortunately.
They've got absolutely nothing to work with.
Don't do that, please.
Art gets aggressive on the op, checking the right angle. IDK is down. There's an opening duel for the CT side to work with, but Maluke pulls it back in underpass. Art was getting a little bit too greedy, and he pays for it. Now TeamOne have a second op on offer. I don't think they'll be taking it, though, on the terrorist side. Who will be taking it, though, is Yuri, as he picks up the op and bails back towards the A site. He kind of has an obligation, or somebody on A does, to hold towards short, though. You cannot leave Casarado on an island by himself on B. Luckily, it doesn't matter because he will not be pressured. Well, it does kind of matter because Yuri, in an attempt to avoid Casarado just being overwhelmed from both angles, swaps over towards B, leaving only 2 players on the A side as this push will come through from TeamOne. All 4 players here with 3 smokes to play with. It's going to be a painful spot for Furia. Difficult hold on the cards.
It certainly will be. Vinny and, of course, Able J, they haven't really got too much utility, but they do have a smoke, a flash, and a nade. So, I mean, it's not too bad. They can get the smoke down to delay a little bit further. The flash will allow them to take the fights. But Able J, unfortunately, goes down pretty much immediately. They are looking to try and clear the back corner as well. So Vinny goes down very easily, just crouched there with not really much to do. Putting it into a 4-on-2 now. Of course, leaving Yuri and Casarato as the last 2 players standing. I believe they know both maybe in CT. Maybe not, because they are still being cautious at the flank, etc. So they are going to be, I was going to say, given a bit of a chance to pounce together from CT, but it looks like they are just going to go ahead and decide to save instead, which again is understandable because they do have enough to get a pretty decent bio in the next round with these 2 weapons, especially being saved over. Vinny and Able will be able to actually get a bio for themselves. It'll really just be R2, unfortunately, will be limited. And even then, he might get a drop over. That op might be given from Yuri over to Art. It depends whether he's going to be willing to actually go into a weaker weapon himself, of course.
And TeamOne are really pulling this off towards the later stages of the map. I expected Furia to start dominating yet again, but they've definitely cooled off from Train, or rather TeamOne have woken up. Again, this is not a terrible map for them. And if we go over to a third, I mean, Vertigo is very much of an unknown entity for TeamOne. It's generally a map that they take out of the pool. They haven't played it at all since it came out. And Furia, on the other hand, obviously they've been pretty dominant there, only losing out recently the Gamer Legion, a team that have been big fans of Vertigo since the day it came out. So it's definitely an acceptable team to lose to on Vertigo. I don't know right now. I mean, it's very difficult to call TeamOne's performance on Vertigo, but the fact that they're making this one so close on Furia's map pick when there were still so many maps in the pool, and this is what surprises me. I believe Inferno was banned after this, so it was still in the pool to be picked right now. A map where we saw Furia dominate TeamOne. It was like 16-5 when they played there. Recently
I'd imagine
as
they
well.
were confident coming onto Mirage though as well.
I'll
doesn't
give you
always
that.
work, it seems.
Evidently. Art just, again, getting a little bit too greedy in mid.
Okay, yeah, no, that was an interesting push. I mean, Vinny was also pushing up through short, but the chance of a player being down close already was pretty high considering they had found 1 frag. Vinny will be able to find 1 in return eventually as he pounces from window, but it's still a man advantage right now for TeamOne. Coming into a pretty crucial gun round here as well for Furia. They're left with a man disadvantage after those initial exchanges actually calmed down.
Vinny, ooh, just about wins the fight onto IDK. Tippity tapping on the AUG. As you're down to a 3v3, TeamOne not looking to take it towards B. Instead, they want to hit A, where there's 2 players holding down, Casarado and Able J. And it's going to be Casarado to try and save the day as TRK comes up close. I thought he was going to peek that straight away, but throws out some utility. It gives away the fact that they're there. He turns from the flash. Able J picks up 1 from afar, which means Casarado's not expected to be up close. And so the kills go their way with Barton lagging out on ramp, but eventually he's back and ready to roll to try and pick up this 1v3.
It's going to be tough. Creeping out a ramp. He does at least have his crosser in the correct position to actually find that frag onto Able J. Turned around from the flash and the nade and still managed to flick back in time to take the headshot. The issue is, with the time that's available, you just can't really do anything about this. He needed all of these frags to be found, as there's now 5 seconds left on the clock. Vinny and Casarato just backing away, knowing there's no way for him to actually go ahead and win it. So Furia, after starting that round off pretty poorly and coming out on the worst end of things, I suppose was one way to put it, after those initial trades came in, they do recover it quite well. 11-11, they equalize the scoreline once again. There is still enough money for TeamOne to buy in. But TeamOne, this is a very crucial round that they do need to pick up. If they don't, they'll be looking at an eco most likely. And of course, Furia then in a great spot to just go ahead and extend this lead and get themselves so close to the finish line. Art, though, I was going to say being a little bit more cautious on window this time around, but he takes the peak a little bit later and instantly drops Maluke with a headshot. IDK, though, with 2 of his own.
Those are some really nice openings for his team, pulling it back into an advantageous spot. Although they're working with a man disadvantage, or not working with a man disadvantage anymore, are they? They're not working with a man advantage, was what I was going for. But my words failed me. But now they've got 2, as Caserado's last alive with an MP9 to work with. He's getting aggressive towards Connector. I think TRK has hurt him. Yeah, he has indeed. Barton knows he's there as well, and look at the HP. Both TRK and Barton below 10 HP, but still not taken down. And walking away with the 12-11. TeamOne land themselves a pretty sweet spot back in the lead, with Furia having not a whole lot of cash to work with. Art takes out armor and presumably something along the lines of a scout, or maybe even just a deagle or alternative pistol. I don't think a force buy is really the right call right now. If they decide to go for it, I'd be quite surprised.
That was a super quick round as well there from TeamOne. Furia actually are going to be forcing into this one at least somewhat. They've invested Caserato down to 450, Vinny on 1,150. He's likely to spend more considering he only has Kevlar right now and no pistol being upgraded. So yeah, they're going for the full buy into this right now for Furia. If it doesn't work out, then TeamOne are going to be going up against an eco in the round that follows this one. And at that point then, 14-11 would be the likely scoreline. So this is a very risky play from Furia. High risk, high reward. Is it going to work out though is the question. Art on that M4 is going to have to show up big time.
Caserado's already been spotted up close. They'll be cautious about pushing this now. Maluke spamming away on the AWP in apartments. Not landing anything just yet, but as Vinny goes down, and they presume Caserado's still here, but he creeps on through the smoke. That could be the play that works for him. Maluke is not checking him just yet as the smoke dissipates. He's not inside the sights, so picks up 1. Low HP now. No way he gets out of that corner alive, really. With 1 kill on the board, there's a little bit of potential there for the other CTs to rotate in. You've got an AWP in the hands of Bit now. He's holding down aggressively in apartments. So if they peek this together, maybe he finds 1 kill and goes down to the pistols. It's a long shot, though. Considering the fact that Art's got the M4, I don't expect him to be taking all too much of a risk with it, but he is trying to challenge this AWP. Not landing anything just yet. And eventually, they're just going to take the weapons out of here. Make sure they're irretrievable. And that will be Furia saving over 2 pieces of armor. Well, 3 pieces of armor, really. And an M4.
Just made things so difficult for Furia, though. As I said, not really going to be able to buy much up in this next round. They'll probably just have what they are saving over right now. Giving TeamOne a great opportunity to just go 14-11 up on the scoreboard, putting themselves pretty much on the verge of victory. At least they're on the second map to send it onto Vertigo, of course, which will be the decider if needed, which is looking a little bit more likely. Let's see, Furia. They do at least have a couple of smokes and, of course, a grenade. A flash could assist them. I'd like to see them maybe try and get aggressive on mid, allow for that M4 to follow up behind a couple of pistols and see if they can actually come out on top of some trades on mid early on. Doesn't seem like that's going to be the goal, though. A little bit more standard, I guess, coming through. They are actually going to go for it. Yeah, Art it does end up going out connector, doing so on his own, though. The only assistance he has is Caserato with a USP and window. So if he goes down, then things just become even more difficult. And the issue is right now there's so many players actually watching for this aggression. The op Holden will have a very easy frag. That's a man advantage already going in favor of TeamOne.
Man advantage, irretrievable M4, and a very split out defense. They have 3 players towards the B bomb site, which is the one saving grace for them. But TeamOne taking underpass control here. They haven't yet decided where they want to go, which site they're feeling. Looking for any aggression in middle, but gaining absolutely nothing on the back of that. Smoke goes down towards window again. Nothing really given away about where they want to go in terms of utility usage, but as a flash goes down on short and you see TRK rotating through underpass, this is almost certainly going to be a hit towards the A bomb site, leaving them into a pretty sad position really on the CT side. I mean, they've got 2 players with armor that will probably want to save that forward to the next round. Really, I think the best play at this point, considering all the players have pushed the A site, as soon as the bomb plant goes down, push apartments, get all the way through, see if you can pick up that M4 towards the top and middle and carry that through to the next round. That's the only way this really goes their way.
They could also set themselves up for exit frags. See if they can steal away a couple of weapons to make their buy in this next round a little bit better, because they are going to need to, pretty much from this point forward, be flawless on the CT side if they want to win in regulation. They won't be able to give up one more round. If TeamOne even bring it to 15, then the best that Furia can do is overtime. So it's going to be a tough one. Maluke, that's your teammate coming in, and I was expecting him to shoot, and he did.
Team damage has been pretty present in general. I like the decision there to just push towards top mid. They get the M4. They've got 2 players on armor surviving, even with Vinny going down. B's being completely cleared out, but there's no time really for the hunt to go through. The only way Furia lose anything else is if they get too aggressive, and that shouldn't be happening right now. Although they're a very aggressive team in general, they know when it's time to just hide. So altogether, positives. They've saved over 2 pieces of armor. They've got an M4 on Caserato off the bat. He hasn't got armor, and this is the sad part. If he was one of the players that had like a CZ to play with, he could drop over an AWP towards Art and play glass cannon. Or not, sorry. And play with the M4 and armor without any utility. But now if he wants to drop that off, he'd have to play glass cannon M4. Not the kind of cannon you want.
Yeah, it's not going to be happening. It should just be the rifles in play here for Furia. They need to make this round work, though. Otherwise, it's probably map 3 that we're going to be seeing. That's kind of what we were expecting. We did expect this to be a 3-map series, in all honesty. It's just not this way around. We thought the team would be able to actually pick up that train game. We've seen how that went in the end. Those 16-4 for Furia. And we thought that Furia would have a pretty easy time here on Mirage. Although, we did also note that TeamOne tend to keep the games pretty close. This time, though, they're looking like they may be able to just go ahead and finish it off. Up 14-11. Looking for that mid-control early on. They will wait a while before pouncing. And as they do so, Maluke ends up taking a little bit of spam damage there from Art on the M4.
With Maluke on 27 HP right now. And indeed, damage taken towards Bit. This is looking better than it has for Furia early on. Not losing any players, but they found opening duels in the past and then had things just torn apart by the likes of IDK in middle. He's again around this area. But he gets lit up without all too much being returned. TRK drops a nade. Doesn't do too much damage. Vinny is in danger. He's not checking towards top mid. IDK is able to open up middle yet again for his team, pulling it back into a 4v4. Art has so consistently been aggressive here, but he's caught out by TRK towards bottom mid too many times. This time he's aware of it and catches that kill. The repeat comes through, and IDK, again the man to look towards on the terrorist side to pull them out of these awkward spots. Barton picks up a kill on A. Now that's open for them to start a push. The problem is, he's not aware that Yuri can be in CT already. And so as he gets taken down, 2v2, sure, that on paper looks better for the T side, but considering their positions and the fact that they've got so little health, 27 on each. Oh, never mind, they take Caserato down from above. Now even with the low HP, this should be a winnable position for them, as it's only Yuri to contend with, and they know he was towards the A side.
Yeah, he's going to be looking to try and come in through short, it seems. Unfortunately, didn't make that window jump, so he's going to have to take a little bit of extra time to actually rotate up, and without a fuse kit, that could in the end cost them. Positive is Maluke and IDK both so low on HP here. Can certainly get this one done. A single bullet towards either is all that's needed from that M4, but he gets caught as he looks to try and push up in through short. Maluke, the perfect timing on the peak comes out, and that is going to be 15-11. Map point being found for TeamOne. And of course, as we can see, averaging just over $3,000 for Furia onto their players does not put them in a good position. Caserato going to be able to at least pull out a glass cannon up. A FAMAS in play, a couple MP9s. Vinny probably going to be on something similar. Actually pulls out the Deagle in the end, which allows for at least a defuse kit to come through. So that's a small positive. I mean, it could certainly be a worse buy, but they could also be in a much, much better position because they are now down by 4. With TeamOne on the brink of taking this map and sending it onto Vertigo. And look at this from Caserato. The confidence up close. Catches IDK with a flash in hand. And manages to actually go ahead and snatch a man advantage that is very much needed for Furia into their favor. And actually been extended there by Yuri as well. This is looking pretty solid right now for Furia. Maybe they can take this round and start to come back.
It's looking like it as Yuri does a whole host of damage. Art starts to rotate in. He knows exactly in the rough area where Barton is, as he's been hurried out towards Palace. As he gets taken down, that's 15-12. Still, the road to recovery is going to be long and perilous for Furia. 3 rounds in a row they need to find, and there's lots of money on the T side to get a buyout here. Next round, it'll be a little bit weaker, but they can still get a full investment if they want to. Tier guy could drop over a weapon towards Barton. Yeah, I think they'll probably buy up if they lose this one as well, especially if they get a bomb plant. But into the 5v5, 3 consecutive rounds needed for Furia to pull it back to an overtime, and this has been such a huge series for TeamOne so far. They've been playing incredibly, and the fact that they lost so dominantly in map number 1 and were able to reset themselves. Remember, this is single elimination. If they lose this best of 3, they are out of the running for ESL 1 New York. And evidently they want it. What a way to come back into it as well. On the map that didn't look too fantastic for them. Didn't look terrible, but Furia were certainly favourites coming into this series to win Mirage, and then obviously with the performance in the previous map, the fact that TeamOne have made it this far is already massively surprising.
Ooh, nice shot from Bic going to be coming through though, so that previous round may not actually do too much for Furia, as it could potentially still be finished off in this round right now. Already the 5-on-4 being found, the bomb picked up by Maluke. Barton in a great position to catch this aggression in towards Palace, does indeed shut it down. Abel J falls, and now the A bomb site becomes severely weakened. The split up through Connector going to be so difficult to hold. Yuri, he gets his head ripped off within seconds of finding contact, and now it's all on the Caserato, 1 versus 5. He's a very solid player, but I think this is a bit too much to ask of him. He gets 1, but there's 4 more to go as the bomb gets planted. Oh, and there's a second. I mean, if they keep giving him opportunities, maybe it's doable.
There's only 2 players towards the side as well. He can isolate each angle 1 at a time if they allow him to. Flashbang goes through. Cerrado eventually eliminated. And that's going to be it. Furia actually lose here.